Okay, welcome to Kojo's Math today, adding and subtracting mixed numbers. What I want you to do right now is I want you to stop the video and I want you to do these two problems because you got to be able to do these two problems to add and subtract mixed numbers. So stop the video, do the problems, and then we'll start it back up when you're ready. Alright, welcome back. Let's see how you did. You recognize that these are unlike denominators, so you have to get a common denominator. What's the common denominator? 15. So when we have 15 as the denominators, 5 goes into 15, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 goes into 15, 5 times 2 is 10. The answer is 22 over 15, or 1 and 7/15. Either one of those is correct. Here, you could have said 8 times 6 is 48 and gotten the common denominator like that, or realized that 6 and 8 both go into 24. So hopefully you picked 24 just because it's easier for you to work. If you picked 48, you could still get the same answer. So 8 goes into 24, 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 6 goes into 24, 4. We have 13 24s. Okay, so when we add and subtract mixed numbers, we have to have the same denominator. We have to have the same denominator when we're adding and subtracting fractions forever. Okay, so let's move on. Let's get more into the depth. So, I just said that. Same with mixed numbers. So let's do these two problems. We're not going to add the whole numbers, 5 and 2, until we get these fractions. Notice, when we use mixed numbers, it's much easier to write the work vertically. So, we're going to bring over the 2 and the 5 and the plus sign, because what will happen is you'll forget about the sign after you've converted everything, and if it was subtraction, you'll make mistakes. So always bring the sign over with you. What's the common denominator between 3 and 8? 24. So we're going to put 24. This should be old hat now. We're going to make an equivalent fraction of 1/8 into 24ths, which becomes 3 24ths, because 8 goes into 24, 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 2/3, we want to make an equivalent fraction for 2/3. 3 goes into 8. 8 times 2 is 16. We add 19 24ths. We've got to add these two, don't forget. Over here, you could multiply again, 8 times 12. Oh, headache. Because you're going to be dealing with larger fractions, you're going to have to simplify those at the end. So try, that's why the least common multiple is important. So again, I'm going to bring over my 9 and my 4 and my plus sign. And my common denominator again is 24. The equivalent fraction for 1/12 and 24ths is 2 24ths. The equivalent fraction for 3/8 and 24ths is 8, 3, 9. We add 13 and we get 11 24ths. So far this should be all review, right? Because the only difference so far is that we've thrown some whole numbers in there to add as well with the fractions. Alright, so what happens though when you go to subtraction? And the numerator to subtract, the top number will always be your largest number. This number will be subtracting another number. But you have to look at the fractions. 3/5 is smaller than 4/5. And you can't subtract those two fractions without, so what do? You have to borrow from the whole. And that's called, you're going to regroup the fraction, which is called regrouping the fraction. When you have a fraction that's smaller than the one you're trying to subtract from it, see 3 minus 4, just the numerators. 3 minus 4, no, it's not 1. This is too small for this. So when we have that, we have to regroup this top number only. Only regroup the top number. So what you have to do is you have to change 6 and 1/4. This is a sidebar here, so we're going to do some practice. If I have 6 and 1/4 and I need to borrow from the 6 to make this a bigger number, this one I borrow a whole. When I borrow that, because I'm talking about 4/4, think about 6 pizzas, right? 6 pizzas. And I want to borrow a whole from one pizza because the last pizza only has 1/4 left. But I want to take a pizza with me. So how much pizza would I have if I had 1/4 of a pizza, but I wanted to take a whole pizza with me? And they said, oh, take the 1/4. I'd have 1 1/4 pizza. But how many pieces of pizza would I have? Well, if they're cut into fourths, and I have one big slice that's 1/4 of the pizza, right? And I have 4 more slices in a whole pizza, and I'm taking those home with me, how many pieces of pizza would be in the box? I'd have my 4 pieces plus my 1 piece, which would be 5 pieces of pizza in one box, right? But I'd have a whole pizza plus another piece. So that's how you have to think in pieces. So if I want to take a pizza with me, in addition to the 1/4, how many slices would I have here? Well, they're cut into fourths, and I'm going to borrow. I only have 5 pizzas I'm leaving behind. And how many am I going to take with me? How many slices? I'm going to take 5/4, because 4 makes a whole pizza. And I have 5 pieces. So look at the pattern here. Do you see this is 1/4, and this becomes 5/4? Okay, just keep that in mind. So here I have 3 pizzas and 2 7ths, and all the pizzas are cut into 7 slices. Well, I had 2 slices left, and I tell you, here, take these 2 pieces of pizza and a whole pizza. How many pieces of pizza do you have? 9 pieces, because you have 7 in your box and 2 extra. So I'm not going to give you 2 boxes, I'm going to give you the 2 pieces to put in the box. So now you have a whole pizza plus 2, which is 7 slices. Oh, excuse me, 9 slices, right? So watch. Look at that. Now watch. I went from 1/4 to 5/4. This is when I'm borrowing. Okay, look, see that pattern? Do you see anything happening here? 2 7ths becomes 9 7ths. All right, now I have 10 pizzas that I cut into 6ths. 6 pieces in each pizza. I had 5 pieces left and a whole. I'm giving you a whole pizza and the 5 slices. How many pieces of pizza are in your box? 11 pieces. So when I borrowed, I have 9 and 11, 6. Look at the pattern. There's a pattern. When you borrow, you simply add the numerator and the denominator for your new numerator. 1 plus 4 is 5/4. 2 7ths is 2 plus 7 is 9 7ths. This is only when I borrowed. 5 plus 6 is 11 6ths. Now let's go back and do this problem. Okay? Just think about it. Well, actually, no, I want you to stop the video and I want you to do these. I want you to think about it. You're going to borrow. You're going to regroup. And to regroup, you're going to change this to 3 and how many 8ths? Think of pizzas. Stop the video, come back, and we'll do it. Okay, how'd you do? Let's see. When we borrow, we get 3, or we group, and then we say 3 plus 8 is 11 8ths. Hopefully you got that. Because I have 5 pizzas that have 8 slices. In one pizza, I have 3 slices. I'm giving you a pizza to go plus the 3 slices. How many slices are in your box? 11. This would be 5 and 7 6. And this would be 9 and 11 6. Now let's do the problem. We're going to regroup, and we're going to write 2 and what? 8/5, because I have to borrow, regroup, to be able to subtract. Bring over my subtraction sign, minus 1 and 4/5. Now, I always start with the fraction. 8 minus 4 is 4/5. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 and 4/5. So you're going to, here you don't need a common denominator. We're just regrouping so that we can subtract the fractions. Okay, check this. Whoa, whoa, Nelly, Nelly belly. Okay. Okay, I want you to, let's do this one. 3 and 1 5/8. We have to regroup 3, but there's nothing here. But this is 8ths. So we're going to put 2 and 8/8. You see that? Because 8/8 is 1, and 1 plus 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. Minus 1 and 5/8. So we get 1 and 3/8. I want you to stop the video. I want you to do these 4 problems. Here you're going to have to get common denominators. Okay? Stop the video. Come back when you're done. All right. Let's see how you did. oops, 2 and 5/12, you should have gotten 8 and 7/12 here. This one stays the same. This is 2/12. 2/12 is equivalent fraction for 1/6. 2, we had to borrow a whole. Because this is sevens, we have 7 sevenths, we get 3 and 3/7. This should be a 6. Here, we're adding, we get 10/9. Did you recognize that you have to change this improper fraction to, you have to put it back? So we take a whole out, 9/9, make that 9, and we're left with 9 and 1/9. Here, got to get a common denominator for both. So 3 and 4 both go into 12. 5 and 1 we bring over. See how I brought over the net minus sign? 3/4, the equivalent fraction is 9/12, and 1/3, the equivalent fraction is 4/12. You should have 4 and 5/12. I want you to write down 2 things you learned and 1 question you still have, and I'll see you tomorrow. Mr. Al still hasn't arrived here at Cranbrook. Should be soon. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.